Children, today we'll continue with the topic which we had discussed in a previous class. The name of the topic was electoral politics. Children, in a previous class, we had just started the lesson with introduction of why do we need elections, isn't it? In that we discussed that we need elections because in India there is representative democracy. And as representative democracy is there, voting is required, and as voting is required, elections are essential. Children, we also discussed about how election is conducted in our country. In that, we discussed about the various steps of election, in which we discussed the different steps like constituencies, reserved constituencies. Then we discussed about another step of announcement of date of elections, then nomination of candidates, voters list. Then we discussed about election campaign, then polling and counting. So these are the different steps of elections which we discussed in the previous class. So children, in the previous class we discussed about the one step that was election campaign. We will revise this step once again. Children, in election campaign, what do our leaders do? Our leaders, they put forward the agenda, the policies which will be followed by their party when they win election, and they do a type of advertisement of their policies. And during election campaign, they give speeches, they go door to door, they assemble themselves and put forward among the people their policy and programs and tell them that give vote to our party, and if we will win, we will do this for the development of the country. So children, this is the process of election campaign. And one discussion was left in election campaign, and the discussion was code of conduct. Children, this code of conduct, this topic is very important. Mostly question comes from code of conduct in your examination. Now, let us discuss what is code of conduct. So, code of conduct is a set of rules and regulations which is made by the Election Commission of India, and these rules and regulation has to be followed by the different political leaders who do election campaign. Now children, you would be very eager to know what are the provisions or what are the set of rules and regulations which are included in code of conduct. So children, the set of rules and regulations which are included in code of conduct are: first, no political party can campaign or do any type of election related activities, any advertisement, any speeches. They cannot assemble in any religious places, either temple, mosque or church. Then the second point is no political leader or no party who contest election can use government vehicles. They cannot use any government vehicles or they cannot use any government machinery. Then the third rule is no political leader or no political party can bribe the candidate or use any money or muscle power during elections. So these are the certain set of rules and regulations. Then one more rule is that no political party or no political leader can announce any new project or program before the election, after the announcement of date of election, or when date of election has been announced. Now children, you will be eager to know that why such things are there, why political leaders or why are any minister is not allowed to make any announcement or to do any type of project before election. The reason is very simple. This means that if any leader he announces, suppose he announces that he will build a bridge or he will give do investment in building schools and colleges, the what is the reason, what is the real meaning after that? Everyone will think that the leader is doing this to win election. The purpose behind announcement of all these activities is winning election, and that is why totally ban is there that no political leader can announce any type of new projects and programs after announcement of date of elections. He cannot do this. And you see practically also before elections, no such developmental activities is done by any ruling party. Any ruling party cannot use any government vehicles. This cannot be done. No campaigning can be done in religious places. So these are certain set of rules and regulations which are being followed by the political leader or the candidates who get the election tickets before election. So children, this question is very important. Mostly it comes in exam. What is code of conduct and discuss its provision. So if this question comes, you have to write whatever I have taught you now. It is given in your book also. You go through the books. This meaning, definition and different provisions of code of conduct is given. So this part was not discussed. So I have discussed in this video that what is code of conduct. So we have discussed in detail about election campaign. We have also discussed different slogans given by different political leaders in past, like Mrs. Indira Gandhi gave the slogan of Garibi Hatao. At present, you can say that our present Prime Minister Narendra Modi, to win election, in election campaign, he used the slogan of Achhe Din Aayenge. Okay? So election campaign is one of the step of election. Children, we also discussed about polling, how it has been done. We discussed what is secret ballot system. It was mostly used in past. Now also it is used. We also discussed about EVM machine and we discussed about EPIC, that is election photo identity card. All these things should be there when any person goes to give the vote. So all these things we completed step by step. Different steps how elections are conducted in our country. So today we'll proceed with the next part of the chapter, that is what makes election democratic. Elections are held in our country, but whether these elections are held in a better way or not, what should be done for that? And for doing this, a very important provision has been mentioned in our constitution. A body is there to supervise whether elections are being conducted in a proper way or not. And that body is known as Election Commission of India. Election Commission of India is appointed by the President of our country. And this Election Commission, the head is Election Commissioner. Election Commission is appointed at central level also and state level also. At central level, Election Commissioner is appointed by President and the State Election Commission is appointed by Governor. And both these election commissioners, they see whether election is being conducted in a proper way or not. They also see that the different candidates, whether they follow the code of conduct mentioned in our constitution and which is been made by election commission. So the main function of election commissioner is to see that elections are being conducted in a proper way or not, or any type of malpractices is being done. They have to check it. And again, if any type of such wrong practice is done in election, the election commissioner cancels the election and repoll or re-election is being announced. So, election commissioner is being appointed to see whether elections are done in a proper way or not. So, this point should be included in your answer, that to see whether election is done in a proper way or not, an election commissioner is being appointed and he has the function to supervise the electoral activities. And at the time of election, the election commissioner becomes more powerful than Prime Minister, and he has more power than the Chief Minister of the state. Prime Minister and Chief Minister also has to follow whatever are the instructions of election commissioner. Election commissioner is just like king at the time of election. Whatever he says, everyone has to follow. No leader, either his prime minister, chief minister, finance minister, or his IS officer, everyone has to follow whatever is being said by election commissioner. And this election commissioner, he deputes the different officials of government department, government teachers to conduct the election. At the election booth, various officials are there to see whether elections are conducted in a proper way or not. And this appointment of different officials to election duty is done by election commissioner. So a very important question comes from this portion, that what are the power and functions of election commissioner? This thing is given in your NCERT book also separately. You have to follow it and write this answer in points. So children, to make election democratic, what is essential? Election commissioner is very essential. Election commissioner has been appointed to see whether election is being conducted in a proper way or not. So we have discussed this regarding election commissioner. Then another point is, what are the other aspects through which we can say that elections are done in a proper way or not, or fair elections are there in a country? Another aspect is popular participation. Now children, and voters turnout. Now what is this popular participation and voters turnout? This we will discuss by taking examples of developed country and developing country. Popular participation means, and voters turnout means, the meaning of these 2 points are, in popular participation, it is seen that what is the percentage of people who are voting at the time of elections. Take for example, in our country, general election will take place after some years. In that election, suppose you take example of your district Patna. If elections are being conducted and only 40% of people, they vote, they go to the polling booth to give the vote, then what will be the answer? Popular participation is not taking place. People are not interested. People are not giving vote. So children, when election result will come, you can say that fair election has taken place. When people will only not participate, then there is no meaning of fair election. So for fair election, it is very essential that people should participate in voting. They should give votes. And voters turnout will be only more. Maximum voters turnout will be there only when at least 80 to 90% of people will give vote. Suppose if elections are held after 1 year in Bihar, and in these elections 95% of people, they go to the polling booth and give vote, then naturally what will happen? If more people will give vote, then voters turnout ratio will be high, isn't it? And naturally, when more people will give vote, what will happen? We can say that election is taking place in a fair way. Whatever results are there of election is the result of maximum representation, maximum voting done by the people. If people are only not voting, if they are only not interested, then there is no meaning of elections. There is no meaning of voting. So, what is the percentage of popular participation? It is linked with the fair election. And it is seen that mostly in a survey it has been found out that in developed country, rich and privileged people, educated people, they give more vote. Their voting percentage is more. And in developing and poor countries, mostly unprivileged and poor people, their voting percentage is more. But this was the survey before some years. At present, the changes are taking place. Especially in India, the intellectuals, the literate people, they are also now going and giving the vote. They have realized that their one vote matters a lot. If they will not vote, what will happen? A wrong leader, a representative who is not deserving, he or she will represent the country, or he and she will become the leader. Their voting matters a lot. So, in current survey, it has been found out that in India also intellectuals and richer section and educated section, now they are giving votes. It has been found out that mostly from literate section of a society, from at least 10 to 20% people, they belong to certain political party. Either they belong or they are interested in campaigning of any political party. So the situations have improved in our country also, and popular participation is taking place. But children, this is not enough. If fair voting is required, if good results are required, if you want a good leader, if you want a good prime minister, good chief minister, good MLA and MPs, intellectuals and privileged people should go and give the vote. They should realize the importance of their voting. So, popular participation and voters turnout is the important point which leads to fair election. If people are not interested in voting, if voters turnout ratio is low, what will happen? The result is elections are not fair. So the main criteria is, the first is election commission, second popular participation and voters turnout. So these are the certain points that we have discussed, that what makes election democratic or how fair elections are taken place. If all these aspects are not there in any country, if election commission is not there, if popular participation is not there, if voters turnout ratio is very low, if people are not going and giving the vote, then naturally what is the situation? The situation is elections are not held in a fair way. So children, today in this video, we have discussed about what is election commission, what are its functions. We have discussed about election campaign and code of conduct. What are the provisions of code of conduct? So different questions from this part can come. So if you are writing questions in your copy, the questions which can be formed, the first question is, what is code of conduct and what are its provisions? Second, write short note on popular participation and voters turnout. This is given in your NCERT book with a diagram. You have to refer the diagram and write the answer. And the next is, what makes election fair, or what are the criteria for democratic elections? So for today it is enough. We'll continue in the next class. Thank you children.